Hello everyone, this is my last teaching memo. I'm sure that upsets most of you. Well, I ran my second 5K on Saturday. I'm still alive, barely. It was for Miles of Hope, a breast cancer charity here in Dutchess County. Both Dr. Laura and her daughter, Sophie, were there to cheer me on, which was cool. Although I was in pain as I crossed the finish line. The course was a lot tougher than last week because last week it was flat. This week there were hills and the hills were not alive with the sound of music. But I bettered my time by over a minute, so I was happy. In the video version of this memo, I showed a clip of me finishing, and I will show you that right now. You'll hear the cheering in the background. There I am.
All right, Tom. Good timing. Good timing.
Look at me. Holy cow. Get this over with. I'm dying out here. Well, that's it. You'll notice there was a walker here. I think, yeah, see, that lady is... The lady is walking and she beat me. Oh, how embarrassing. Okay, housekeeping. Enough of me and my running, but I'm going to continue to do it. I've been getting encouragement from a lot of people. It's amazing the people on Facebook that encourage you when you're running. Some people I haven't heard from in years. All of a sudden it's like, go get them, Dr. Tom. So it's nice. The course ends on Thursday, May 3rd, so therefore I have no new assignments, which is why I do that. I don't know what they expect us to accomplish in 4 days, but anyway, I'm going to be closing my gradebook on Friday the 11th. My grades have to be in that Monday, so that gives me some time to do some computation and get them transposed into Blackboard, etc., into Tura 1, I mean. So, closing my gradebook on Friday, so make sure, week from Friday, which will be the 11th. And I don't think I've heard from anybody that's going to be taking incomplete. But remember, in order to qualify for an incomplete, you have to have completed 75% of the requirements. So if that's you, contact me by email, text message, or phone, or you can even do a remind message if you want. I've closed the discussion board. You might notice that I've also opened all the others, so you will have access to all of your comments. A lot of people like to do that, like to collect them and save them. Speaking of collections, I'm not real sure about your the end of your program portfolio, but I know the selected response test is one of those items that goes into your portfolio. I'd also like to see some of your initial posts, which some of them were outstanding. So I would save those too. Why not? You need to check your grades and make sure all your assignments have been handed in. For those who owe me a good deal of work, you will be hearing from me via email from Dr. Tom. There still are people who have not done either the RTI DEJ or the test prep DEJ. So those are major assignments, so make sure you get those done. You don't want to receive a 50 on those. I've received a couple of emails asking me for feedback on their final revised test. I know this is tempting, but I will be grading all the assignments that are due today and those due on Thursday. So my head will be down. I really can't be giving more feedback on the select response test. So the whole program was to give feedback from me, feedback from your first group, and then feedback from your second group, which I think is a lot for a college course. So. So I won't be giving feedback on that last selected response test. All right, let's talk about session 11. Many of you mentioned Marissa as I knew you would, and that's why I do it, because it's a great activator. Most of us can relate to that. I had somebody like that. Many have had teachers or instructors like Mr. Jones, even at Turo, I understand, which is kind of sad that an education program teaching teachers doesn't model good assessment practice. I use this piece to activate. It's what I call an activator. It activates your conversation about assessment for learning, and have you go deeper than just comment on how bad Mr. Jones was. And that's why I shared the Emily video with you, and almost all of you comment on the Emily video and Miss W, and that's what I wanted you to do. So it's a pro and a con, and juxtaposed next to each other, so you can see what is not good assessment practice and what is assessment for learning. The acceptance of late work, allowing students to do work over, was mentioned often. A few of you made reference to Rick Wormelli, his article and his videos. The last one, which I placed in session 12 course materials. Both Wormelli and Reeves, in his video on toxic grading practices, argued against averaging a student's various attempts and do-overs, comparing it to a long-distance runner who, there it goes, long-distance runner again. My time was a minute better in that, so I'm counting that. I'm not averaging them. So you can see the point you're trying to make, that as you go through a course and you get better at certain assignments, if you have an essay in the first quarter, essay in the second, third, and fourth quarter, that fourth quarter essay should be worth a lot more than the one in the first quarter. And that's something that we need to get away with. Okay, I got averaging all 4 quarters to get a final grade. That's like, averaging, your first attempt at riding a bike with how you ride a bike right now. Not good, not appropriate. It does not reflect what you know and how good you are and how hard you've worked. Although typically effective effort plus I've drawn a blank here. Confidence plus effective effort equals success. So effort should factor into a grade, because it should, if it's effective effort, it should factor into a grade. So I discourage that. A lot of people said I take grades, I take points off for late work, and that's your choice. I'm just telling you what good grading practice should look like. If you don't want to do it, then that's your issue. And if you want to say that's real life, then that's wrong. It isn't real life. In real life, people get to do do-overs. Matter of fact, if you're working for a boss, he's going to make you do it over till you get it right. So that's real life. Real life isn't deducting points because you didn't get it right the first time. And that's one of the problems in American education, is that we reward people for getting it right the first time. We do not reward people for making mistakes, correcting those mistakes, and then getting it right. And to me, that's more of what it should be about, learning from your mistakes. So, that's the kind of culture I would love to see you create in your classroom. Often we don't see the power of allowing our students to do work over, but several of you mentioned you appreciate my practice of allowing do-overs. Just think how you feel when you know an assignment is not do or die. Then if you miss something or make a mistake, you can go back and fix it, just like in a real job. I just had a student ask me to do the DEJ over because she got a 75 on it, and after my feedback said, please let me resubmit this, because it was weighted more than all the other DEJ. And I said, fine. I cleared it. She resubmitted it. 97, I think she got, and that's the grade I gave her. So because that shows me that she knows what I wanted to see. In my section 640 22 section, I brought up Miss W's goal that everyone could get an A+. in her class, which is my belief in all my courses. I mentioned in the DB that one semester, the lowest grade I gave was an A-, and how I was chastised by my supervisor for what he considered grade inflation. Whereas I thought I did an exceptional job teaching and designing my course, he called it grade inflation, and told me not to do it again. So the thing is, that's what my students earned. And all of you that have taken my course now know that it's no piece of cake. Yes, if you do the work, chances are you're going to get an A. Most of the people that fall down on my course are people that don't submit assignments. So that's what it should be about, and that should be the new paradigm. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. In the same section, Sandy mentioned that someone bashed her teaching in a preschool where she played with kids all day. So I shared with her, and I'm sharing it here in my teaching memo, a video on my brief but deep dive into the world of pre-K. I think you'll get a kick out of it. Just another reminder, there are some preschool resources and additional course materials, and I'll take you there right now. If you go into the left-hand menu, you'll see additional course materials here on the left. Let me scroll down. And if you scroll down, you'll see that there are early childhood assessment resources. Click on that. This first one had a broken link, which Chrissy appropriately found and pointed out. She didn't point it out to me though. I had to read it in a discussion board post. So I've changed this link to be a link to a document on pre-K standards and assessment, and you can download this PDF file, and you'll see that there is an assessment section, assessment of child progress, page 53 to page 61. So and plus there's some good stuff on teaching here too. So just so you pre-K people won't feel that I'm ignoring you, there you have it, some resources on early childhood assessment. Go get it and download those. I hope you are downloading everything that I've sent you. Finally, if there's anything I want you to take away from this course, it's the power of formative assessment. If you remember back in Fisher and Fry when we did RTI, the days of making lesson plans for the year are over, and we need to vary teaching and time so learning stays constant. We need to use formative assessment to guide us, reteach, regroup, and allow students to adjust their learning as well. If you want to be a great or better teacher, learn how to use formative assessment effectively. So that's it. I'll be back with my session 12 assignments and a little winding up in my assignment video. So make sure you check that out.